It's September, so I guess autumn is finally here, at least on my Pinterest board and on Gilmore Girls, because that is the only autumn that I have ever experienced. But I get the essence, I get the aesthetic, and I have here a couple of books that I think fit the whole gloomy atmosphere perfectly. So, if you want to get lost into a book and you want to have a marvelous time this autumn season, read one of these books, and I'm sure you would have a really lovely time. The first book is All's Well by Mona Awad. I have seen a lot of praises for Bunny as well as Rouge, but I've never seen a lot of people talk about All's Well, which is weird because it deserves equal recognition and equal praises. This is about Miranda, who suffers from chronic pain. Like, she's in pain all the time. Her life is a nightmare. No one respects her, no one understands her. Everyone just thinks that she's overreacting, like she's not actually suffering as much pain as she is showcasing. And yeah, basically her life is terrible. But one day she meets these three men in suits who grant her a wish to take her pain away. Basically, she is allowed to transfer her pain to anyone that she doesn't like. And this is such a classic Mona Awad book. Like, if you like Mona Awad's book for its feverish, fever dreamish quality, then this is the book for you. You feel for the character, you understand what is going on, and you just find yourself lost in the rabbit hole. And I just love this book so much. The reason why I love Mona Awad's books so much is because they remind me a lot of like fairy tales, dark fairy tales. I really consider Mona Awad to be a modern Grimm brother because that is the vibe that she gives me. And this is an amazing book, and if you want to get into a perfect mood, or if you want to find a perfect time to read this book, this is it. Like, this is the time you should pick this up and read it. This is so worth it, especially if you like Rouge or Bunny. I'm sure you're going to like this book as well. Next is a really short book called The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. This is a woman's descent into madness. Like, we follow this unnamed narrator who finds herself in this new mansion. She finds herself imprisoned in this room with this ugly yellow wallpaper, and she just feels so suffocated. People say that she is suffering from hysteria because in this time period, mental illness did not exist. So no one literally understands what is going on in the character's mind. Everyone thinks that she has gone crazy, and their only solution is to trap her, imprison her into a room. And it is a very short book, like only 22-23 pages, but it stays with you for a really long time because it is so eerie, it is so scary. Like, these 23 pages just put you into this room with a really ugly wallpaper, ugly yellow wallpaper, and you feel suffocated along with the character. And I think the writing of this book is just so beautiful that it fits the whole atmosphere, the whole spooky atmosphere really beautifully. And you would also gain a lot of insight about mental illness and what it was like having mental illness in a time period where people just did not want to acknowledge it. Next is a classic autumn book, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I love this book a lot. If you want a book that is no plot, just vibes, and if you have seen a lot of people recommend this book during autumn time, that there is a reason for that, because this screams autumn. Okay, if you want to get lost in this magical world, in this magical circus that only appears at night unannounced, and you want to get lost in the different types of tents, you want to just feel magic through and through, this is the book for you. Trust me, I have a tattoo to prove my love for it. So you should read this book because I have a tattoo. Okay? Next is a really cozy book called A Psalm for the Wild Pilt by Becky Chambers. In this book, Dex, a tea monk, has a really successful life. Like, they have a job that they really love and they really enjoy. They basically are a free therapist for all the people that come to them, but they are not happy. They wake up every single day thinking that something is missing from their life. They do not feel true joy even if they have like a really perfect life. So they decide to go on a trip on their own, and on this little trip they find this robot called Moscap, and both of them have these really intellectual yet insightful conversations. And I think this is a really like a comfort book because I find my thoughts returning to this book a lot. A lot of the discussions that they have, a lot of the quotes that I read. If you want to read a book where you want to feel as if, oh, I wish someone was in my life to have these discussions with me, to tell me all the inspiring stuff that is talked about in this book, tell me that it is fine being a human being, what being a human being is really like, yeah, read this book. Next is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Rachel Gillig is turning into one of my favorite writers because she knows how to write books. Even though I did find this book a little bit predictable because I could see where the story was going, but I still had a really fun time reading it because I was invested in this book, right? I knew the story. I have seen this film before, but I did like the ending and I did have a really fun time because the characters were so much fun. Like, Rachel Gillig knows how to write characters, she knows how to build tension between them, she knows how to create these perfect dynamics, and I just loved every single thing about this book. In this book, Six, along with her other diviners, literally drown to read portents or omens of other people, basically if their future is good or not. And one day, one by one, each of the diviners goes missing except for Six, and then she sets out on a journey to find all the missing diviners. And there is also like a different story involved about a king and a knight. There is romance, there is fantasy, there is a really beautiful but predictable plot. But I am sure that if you want to read a book that is just filled with atmospheric writing where you are lost in a magical world, this book is for you. Next is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, I guess. This is a horror book. Like, no one can convince me otherwise. Like, I refuse to believe that this is a emotional science fiction book. Like, no. This is a true horror book for me. I literally felt like throwing my Kindle while I was reading this book. If I had the physical copy of the book, I would for sure have had thrown the book because I have never had this intense physical reaction while reading a book. And also, I am sure that if an epistolary book has a character called Charlie in it, has the main character called Charlie, it's going to be a beautiful and heartbreaking book. Like, I am sure now that if I pick up any epistolary novel that has the main character Charlie, I'm going to love that book. In this book, our main character Charlie is a 32-year-old man who is also retarded. He has a really low IQ, like less than 70 or 60 or something. So he decides to undergo through an operation that will increase his IQ. We read about the journals that he has written while doing this experiment. And it is so heartbreaking. Like, you could literally feel all the emotions. You could feel the heartbreak when Charlie realizes how the world is. Like, imagine you are born with rose-colored sunglasses and you are looking at the world all pink. You have this certain perspective that all the world is just pink. Everything is good and happy and nice. But all the people around you are not wearing rose-colored sunglasses. They are looking at the world as it is. So because you want to do the same thing, you decide to willingly take out the sunglasses and you want to see the world as it is. And it is so heartbreaking because the world is a vicious place. Like, there is literally a scene where Charlie realizes that people are not laughing with him but they are laughing at him, and I just couldn't bear it. Like, I couldn't bear myself. I stopped reading it at that moment, but I also wanted to continue reading it because I wanted to know what happened next, but I just couldn't find the patience in me to turn over the page because it's a really heartbreaking book. And if you want to read a horror novel that will break your heart, read Flowers for Algernon. Next book is Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. Please check trigger warnings before you dive into this book because it is traumatizing, okay? The way I interpret this book is that this is how traumatized people deal with the world. You can have your own interpretations, but yeah, that is how I look at this book. I read this in one day. Like, I read this cover to cover. I was so consumed by the story. In this book, Natsuko, our main character, thinks that she is an alien. And because she is an alien, she is obviously not fitting into the standards of what it is like being a normal human being. The people around her obviously do not understand why she is behaving in this really weird way, and they have like put their expectations on her, where they expect her to behave like a normal human being. But what exactly is normal, right? There are certain situations that Natsuko has went through that has made her the person that she is, that has built this whole idea in her mind that she is not a human being, she is alien, she is supposed to go back to her own world. Just dive into this book completely blind, but make sure to read the trigger warnings, because reading about a traumatized person dealing with the world is really traumatizing for you as well. So yeah, check the trigger warnings first. Next book is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. In this book, Marlin Chen and her sisters are the last remaining witches in this town called Oblea. So basically, their father is also like the last wizard, and to maintain this status of being the only last magical beings in the planet, they decide to trick the customers into thinking that they are doing something really divine for them. Like they trick them, they fool them into building potions, into thinking that we are predicting your future and stuff. Their father has imprisoned them because he doesn't want them to interact with the world. But Marlin Chen and her sisters have other idea, because they escape into the night. Like they escape their prison, they break out of their prison, and they just enjoy their lives through the night. Then one day, Marlin Chen meets this mysterious young man who is willing to show her a really good time, and also what it is like truly living your life. So while in the daytime, Marlin Chen is living a really bad and tough life, during the night time she is enjoying her life to the fullest. But there are obviously going to be certain complications, and we read about the complications, and we see Marlin Chen really break through her cages, break through a prison that her father has built for her, and just try to find her own individuality, her own identity, and what it is like truly being herself. It is a fantasy book, but it is one of the best fantasy books that I have ever read. So read this book. The last book is Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. This book is about Leah and Miri's relationship, their troubled relationships, and all the troubles that they are facing. Basically, Leah is kind of like a marine biologist or something, where her job is to go deep underwater and try to find out about all the creatures and organisms that she finds there. And on one such mission, she goes so deep underwater that she loses contact with the people above water on the land, on the land of Earth. And because she has lost contact, she has to live with two other people deep underwater, where she cannot see anything at all. Like she's so deep that light does not reach her at all, and that is one of my worst nightmares. Like I cannot handle being in a surrounding that is completely black, that is completely pitch black. Like I hate space for that reason. Any movie that I watch that has space, except for Interstellar maybe, but any movie that I watch that has like a complete pitch black surrounding, I get immediately scared. Like I just cannot handle it at all. I feel really weird. And yeah, this book is one of my worst nightmares come into fictional world. But anyways, after a couple of months, Leah finally makes contact with the land people on the land, and she comes back home. But now she is a completely different person, a person that Miri does not recognize, and they are having this really difficult time trying to find the connection that was existing before. It is a really emotional book. Yes, it is sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times really eerie and scary, but the problems that Miri and Leah face in their relationship are just so realistic and emotional that I actually really loved reading about it. I really loved reading about their connection and how they are just trying to reach each other, but they cannot do so. And that is how we are sometimes, right? Like we can have the perfect relationships, but there are some days or some moments where we just cannot see past the problems. But the love exists, like the love exists between us, but we just have to really push through the problems, push through the troubled times in order to not find that same connection again, but try to build that new connection that we have. Like that is how I interpreted this book. Yeah. But these are all the books that I recommend you read this autumn. I have a lot of books in on my TBR as well, so I made a TBR video of my autumn reading list if you want to watch that. I hope you're having an amazing autumn so far and you have amazing days ahead as well. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching and bye.